Some major breaking news here. For the first time ever, going back to 2017, a full majority of Americans disapprove of Trump on the economy. According to CNN's polling, 56% of Americans now disapprove of his handling of the U.S. economy. Not only the first time that a majority of Americans have taken this position, but with 56%, it is a healthy margin of Americans who've taken this position. The closest Trump's ever gotten to these numbers before was 49% disapproval in December of 2020, and even that was 7 points stronger than where he is right now. The reality is that Trump's biggest asset, despite his raft of liabilities, has been how Americans perceive him on the economy. That issue, almost unilaterally, has given him wide latitude to be able to operate with impunity when it comes to his, frankly, insane stances on basically everything else. He gets that space precisely because he's been viewed as just that strong on the economic front. But now, well, now you've got all the downside of the crazy without any of the upside of the economic stuff. This presidency is a full-blown lose-lose now for the American people. And it's not a coincidence that these new polling numbers are coming out right now. I honestly cannot remember a time when the line between a president's own actions and his impact on the economy has been so direct and so obvious. Every single American can see with their own eyes how Trump's tariffs have directly raised prices, directly tanked the stock market, and by extension, directly plummeted their own retirement savings. You've heard of fuck around, find out. This is the find out phase, and it is the American people who are suffering the consequences of Donald Trump's actions. Let's start by remembering, by the way, the context here. Trump promised his own voters over and over and over again that he would lower their prices.
Starting on day one of the Trump administration, we will end inflation and we will make America great again. We will deliver regulation cuts, energy price cuts, interest rate cuts, and we will drive prices down, and we'll drive them down very fast. But starting on day one, I will quickly defeat inflation, and we're going to bring down the energy prices fast, liquid gold. And we will make America affordable again. Prices are still going up. You know, they're going up again. And they surged again very viciously last month. So when I win, I will immediately bring prices down. Starting on day one, we will end Kamala's war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to drill.
So that's what was said last year. And where have we gotten instead? Prices not only haven't gone down, they are going up. And it's not just that he's breaking his promise to act to lower prices. It's that instead, his own actions are what are directly causing prices and costs to rise. I mean, just look at the products that Trump has announced tariffs on. Steel and aluminum, meaning they directly impact things like housing, cars, refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines, dryers, iPhones, furniture, and on and on. Again, it couldn't be more obvious why everything is getting more expensive, nor could it have been more preventable. He's also promised universal across-the-board tariffs on Mexico, China, and Canada, three of the U.S.'s biggest trading partners. That's going to raise the cost of electronics, clothing, home goods, toys, sporting goods, industrial parts, pharmaceuticals, appliances, oil, timber, as well as everyday grocery products like avocados, tomatoes, berries, bananas, coffee, beef, chicken, corn, tequila, chocolate, rice. In other words, basically everything. Trump is raising your prices on virtually everything. And if you're one of the 62% of Americans, a vast majority, who have investments in the stock market, you're able to see firsthand how Trump's chaotic and stupid tariff strategy is impacting your own wallet on top of the rising prices. If you have a 401k, for example, and hope to have even a modicum of a retirement after working for your entire adult life, you are seeing how Trump's actions are now severely impacting what you've saved up. I mean, you can literally watch the stock market plunging in real time on Fox News as Trump continues to announce his new tariffs.
So we're going April 2nd, but very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs.
It's getting so bad and so unavoidably obvious that even CNBC, one of the financial networks that tends to be the most apologetic of Donald Trump, just saw one of their reporters go completely off script and say this.
I'm going to say this at risk of my job, Kelly, but what President Trump is doing is insane. It is absolutely insane. It is about the 8th reason we've had for the tariffs. And now he's saying he's putting 50% tariffs on Canada unless they agree to become the 51st state. That is insane. There is just no other way of describing it. And the trouble, Kelly, is that it shows there are no bounds around President Trump. This is very different from the first administration. where there were people around him who seemed to, I don't know what the word is, but smooth over some of the edges now. And the other thing that's not talked about, Kelly, is what's going on within the administration in terms of how they're treating the Constitution and laws. I think all of that is bad for the attraction of capital. And the gentleman from Bridgewater is 100% right. We need massive amounts of capital if we want to fund our deficits, pay for the things we want to pay for, sell our bonds, and have high stock prices. And it seems as if this administration is doing everything it can to chase foreign capital away.
Well, and we could go into the strategy of the insanity as a strategy in terms of our trading
Insanity
partners.
is not a strategy. I'm sorry. I'm with you, Kelly, in trying to look for silver linings. I'm a sunny
not
person.
Silver linings, tactics.
Some explanation for this other than insanity. I'm ready to accept it if you can come up with one.
Exactly. Insanity is not a strategy. Also, just a quick aside, but can we just acknowledge how sad of a state we're in when an economics reporter feels like he is risking his own job just to report on the truth? A truth that a significant portion of the country is now waking up to? Just take a look at this graph, by the way, to see how the S&P 500, which is a top stock market index, compares to other recent presidencies. That line at the top, that's Joe Biden's presidency. You know, the president where Trump spent practically every single day claiming that the stock market was terrible and on the verge of imminent collapse. Obama is in second place. Trump's first term is below that one. And that line way there at the bottom, the one that it's falling so fast it looks like it's falling off the graph. Yeah, that's where we are right now in Trump's second term. Guess it's easier to lie on the campaign trail than it is to actually govern, huh? And while all of this is happening, Trump doesn't seem to care at all. He is telling Americans simply to not look at the stock market.
Before you came into the Oval Office the first time, you were a very successful businessman, very successful real estate executive. And a lot of people said, oh, this is the business president. This is it. He's watching the stock market. He knows all about, he doesn't want the market to go down. And now we've got tariffs and the market has been going down.
Well, not much. I mean, in all fairness, not much.
You said, look, we're going to have a disruption, but we're okay with that. Is that what you meant? The stock market going down was the disruption? What other disruption were you alluding to?
Look, what I have to do is build a strong country. You can't really watch the stock market. If you look at China, they have a 100-year perspective.
Great strategy. Let's rely on the concept of object permanence. If we don't look at the market, then apparently the market ceases to exist. Got it. And instead of focusing on literally anything that would help people, especially in light of his sinking poll numbers, what did Trump opt to do? Well, you see, he straightened up and took seriously the implications of what his tariffs are doing to the broader economy and finally took steps to undo. Just kidding. He held an infomercial on the White House lawn for Elon Musk's car company while its stock price was in practical freefall. Here is Trump literally ignoring questions about the terrible stock market while trying to distract people with a publicity stunt for President Musk.
What's your message to Americans right now, sir, who are worried about the stock market? What's your message to them as they watch it?
Let's go see this. I did buy one of these. Yeah.
The reality is that this is the most corrupt presidential administration in modern American history. It is run by a billionaire oligarch who spent hundreds of millions of dollars to elect Trump in order to gut the agencies that regulate his companies and put more money in his own pockets, which we're seeing play out right now. And while his company is tanking as people are now boycotting it, Trump is desperately trying to save face for him instead of doing a single thing to help Americans who actually voted for him. But the kicker is that Americans are beginning to finally see through what an absolute scam all of this is. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.